The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Camas Washougal, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 41444. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting first, on the face of the front bumper, you'll find your electronic siren. Just inside that location, there are dual air horns on the passenger and driver's side. Located directly in the center is your unit identifier E43. As we move to the driver's side face of the front bumper, you'll find your mechanical siren, and then up onto the bumper extension on the passenger side, you'll find a swivel discharge. There are also closed tow hooks located on the top of the vehicle. Those are 6,000 pounds direct pull, not intended for towing. As we move to the A pillar, you'll find your marker turn indicator light, also headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Just above that, emergency warning lights forward facing, and up to the very front windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. Moving over to the A pillar, you'll find the flat and convexed mirror, and as we move to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 identification clearance lights. Located directly in the center, forward facing, is a floodlight. Moving up onto the roof of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located within the center of that light bar is your opticom. Let's take a look at some photos here of the side of the vehicle. Driver's side full view. We'll start now with the cab section, starting with your front axle, where you'll find a visual sight gauge into the front axle, Alcoa wheel, Goodyear tire. As we move to the front bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Moving now up onto the A pillars, where you're going to find a marker turn indicator light. Easily accessible with a gloved hand. These are the door lock and latch combination. They are a keyed lock. Right next to that, grab handle for maintaining 3 points of contact when entering or exiting the vehicle. You'll also find at the very top section a side-facing scene light. And as we move just toward the rear of the apparatus cab wall, it's where you'll find your LED water tank level indicator. We'll take a look at the midsection. We'll come back to this in just a few moments in great detail. Let's move to the body section, where you'll find your folding wheel chocks to the rear of the axle. As we move to the front forward axle area, you'll find a marker turn indicator light, and then also storage locations just in front of the rear axle. As we move to the over wheel axle area, you'll find an emergency warning light, and then up to the very top rear portion of the body, a side-facing scene light. Also to the very rear and the top section is where you'll find an emergency warning light. Let's move around now to the rear of the apparatus. We'll start first with the emergency warning light, brake, turn, and reverse light. This is a cluster on both passenger and driver side. Also rear-facing water tank level indicator, and also a rear-facing scene light. Up to the very top section is where you'll find that emergency warning light both on the passenger and driver's side. As we move to the center, just below the hose bed, you'll find your traffic advisor. Let's take a look at the side of the vehicle. First, full view. Then we'll focus in on the body section. Same configuration and layout. We do have a equipment rack that houses our ladder storage, and then also exhaust on this side. As we move to the midsection, we'll go over this in great detail in just a few moments, and then on to the cab section. Same configuration and layout. Let's move to the ladders deployed. You'll find a 24-foot extension ladder, 14-foot roof ladder, a 10-foot folding attic ladder, and then two tubes for long-handled tool storage. The next set of images are going to be that of the graphics package. These are your cab and door logos. This is on the side sheet on the rear body. To the rear of the apparatus unit identifier E43. Rear compartment roll-up door. Side sheet on the rear body. And then lower section rear crew cab door. Forward door. Let's go back to the front of the cab where you'll find your emergency warning light side facing. You'll also find in this area a D handle which gains you access into the center storage location for your hose load. This is your swivel discharge. As we move to the center section, you'll find your hose storage location with a notched cutout. Let's go ahead and start now into the driver's space, first starting with the stepwell area, where you'll find an air inlet in the forward section of the stepwell. Moving now into the floor of the cab, you'll find at the base of the seat your battery voltage indicator. When plugged into shoreline power, that will activate. Just near the floor on the side of the engine tunnel is where you'll find this placard indicating the date of manufacturing, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. This also houses the VIN number and all of the fluid components and component amount for fluid. As we move from this location to the floor itself, you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal, brake treadle, and accelerator. Moving to about the left knee of the operator, master battery switch, engine, transmission, ABS, and J1939 diagnostic port. As we move down, you'll find your ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit switches. Moving up to the lower section of the dash area is where you'll find your pump shift. There are instructions to run from road to pump and then also from pump to road. Just as a reminder, when utilizing the pump shift, 2 green indicators are necessary for pump operations: pump engaged and OK to pump illuminating for pump operations before exiting the cab. You'll also find your flat mirror control and convex mirror control just to the right of that location. Center steering column. As we move forward this to the dash area, you'll find your start ignition switch on the left. Switch is labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency warning lights. Also headlight switch and panel switch to the opposite side. OK to engage your high idle indicator and switch. On the left, you'll find your transmission, oil pressure, water temperature, and DEF level. On the right, you'll find fuel, volts, front air, and rear air. In the center is your tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information regarding your vehicle display above in tally lights and below in the digital readout. Let's move just to the right of the main section that we're looking at now, where you'll find at the very top section of this cluster your electronic siren control module. This is also your PA speaker system. As we move just downward from this location, you'll find your windshield wiper fluid push for fluid and rotate right to left for window speed. As we move to the right, you'll find the engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high, mirror heat, tire chains, and also a load manager. Moving down now on to the center section, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake. Those are the rear spring brakes. Also your Allison transmission pad. Air conditioning, heat, and defrost located in the forward section. As we move just to the right, you'll find a siren brake, mechanical siren, and air horn switches. Overhead of the driver position, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, which is 10 feet 3 inches, the length 32 feet 3 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating 45,000 pounds. If you make any adjustments to your vehicle that may alter any of these, please update this placard for the operator. Let's look just to the right of this location. We have a few switches here: front scene, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene. You'll also find your emergency master, opticom, siren brake, and air horn or electric horn switch. You do have a traffic advisor. This is the control module for it. As we look to the center area, you'll find seatbelt information. Red, someone is in the seat and not belted. Green, they're in the seat and belted. You'll also find a red flashing light indicating do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment or door open. That is also tied to your ladder rack. As we move now to the rear portion, this is your air conditioning unit. Let's take a look at the rear portion of the cab area. There are 2 seats forward facing on the outboard areas along with a EMS compartment in the center. There's also 110 access when plugged into Shoreline power. These outlets will be active, activating your battery charger, which will maintain battery status. Let's move now to the exterior. This is your auto eject 20 amp Shoreline inlet. As we move down to the wheel, you'll find Goodyear wheel, Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheel, visual sight gauge in the center. We're now into the door panel where you'll find your grab handle, manual window control, and also warning placards. Let's go ahead and take a look inside the cab space area, and we'll identify a few items within the cab area. First, starting with the ceiling area where you'll find your air conditioner and then also your push on and off red or white lens lights, along with 2 rear-facing SCBA bracketed seats. General view to the 2 forward-facing seats. As we look directly behind the driver's and officer's seat, you'll find additional roofline storage. As we look to the rear portion of the engine, you'll find an access panel. This is for your daily checks for oil and transmission levels. General view with the EMS compartment open. There are 2 adjustable shelves. Correction, 3 adjustable shelves. Let's move now to the exterior, to the crosslay area. We'll start first with this section. At the very top, there is a red pull strap which allows the seatbelt to release, dropping the netting downward. You'll also find 3 locations for hose, crosslay 1, crosslay 2, and a 2.5-inch crosslay. They're also connected just exterior here on the side of the pump panel. Also like to point out a warning regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, we do have the ability for an entanglement. There is additional storage located here, both access from the passenger and driver side. Let's start into the pump panel, into this gray area where you'll find your master intake gauge and also master discharge gauge. In between the 2 of those, test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They're currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. As we start with the pump panel, we'll start in the upper left. This is your Husky foam system specification and operating instructions. The red module is the foam module control. As we move further to the right, you'll find a visual indicator that your pump is properly engaged. And then further to the right, you'll find your pressure throttle governor. In the gray module to the right-hand side, we have additional switches here for white light scene lights. Also, moving down on the panel, you'll find the red module, which is your foam level indicator for foam tank A, and then also the blue module, which is your water tank level indicator. As we move further down, just under the pressure throttle governor, there is an audible speaker. This is adjustable via the outer edge of the bezel. Minimum operation maintenance schedule located to the left, and then also you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharges. As we move to the right, you'll find your fire pump primer. It is a push-to-prime air, at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices. You'll also find your tank fill recirculating line and also a warning placard here indicating when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. This is the warning placard here engaging for the entanglement hazard. These are all of our crosslay information for crosslay 1, 2, and 3. And then also to the right, you'll find your tank to pump. And in the very center section, you'll find your driver's side main inlet. Just to the right of that, minimum operation maintenance schedule. Let's look down to the next panel down where you'll find this placard indicating foam fill. There is a strainer inside this location. And then also you'll find to the right a foam information warning placard indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. There's also a warning here that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. This is the 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via the ball valve. There is also a wattress placard indicating the GPM of your pump, and then to the right-hand side you'll find the fire pump main drain, and then just down to the lower right you'll find your manual pump shift. All of our drains are color-coded and labeled across the very bottom of the pump panel area. Let's go ahead and move from this location now just under the running board, where you'll find your foam pump drain and also foam pump discharge drain. In the running board area, you'll find a cutout here with dry deck material and Velcro tie downs. Wattress placard here indicating that your pump is 1,500 GPM. This is your minimum operation maintenance schedule for the test pressures at 150, 200, and 250 PSI. As we move now into the compartments, you'll see adjustable shelving, pull-out tray, and the lower portion of pull-out tray. This is the control module for your light tower. The release mechanisms for the pull-out tray are located on the lower right-hand side. As we move into the over wheel compartment, we have SCBA storage, 3 SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps. Moving now down to the rear axle, where you'll find Goodyear tire and Alcoa wheel. Moving just to the rear of the axles, where you'll find your fuel location. The green is the diesel fuel, ultra low sulfur. The blue is the DEF tank. Moving from this location to the rear compartment, where you'll find a pull-out tray and also an adjustable shelf. Tool board located here for access. In this compartment, we have an additional outlet. Once again, when plugged into Shoreline power, that will be active. We'll go ahead and move around to the rear of the apparatus next and identify a few items within this space. Starting first in the upper left-hand corner, we have a storage containment area. Also just underneath this, entanglement hazard, because the line's coming from aloft, along with a 2.5-inch discharge. As we move to the right side of the vehicle, you'll find an additional 2.5-inch discharge. Cupped switch here for your hose bed lights. Moving now into the area where the step is located, we have 2 warning placards here. One, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion, and the other, when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. As we move to the roll-up compartment, adjustable shelf and a pull-out tray in the lower section, fold-down steps on the vertical wall. Moving now into the hose bed area, there are 3 hose bed dividers. Moving now to the rear compartment on the passenger side. Overwheel compartment has 2 shelves located in it. Also, you'll find the hydraulic reservoir fill location for the reservoir itself and manual. As we move to the forward section, you'll find SCBA bottle storage location. This is for 3 bottles with retaining straps. This is also the location of your diesel exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operation. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. We have an adjustable shelf and additional SCBA bottle storage. As we move down to the pump panel area, we'll identify a few items within this space also. Moving up to the very top, we have an access panel, and then also a through compartment with designated dividers. cross leg compartment. Warning here regarding entanglement hazard because of the cross lays. This is your powered equipment rack. There are instructions for its operation, also some caution and danger placard information. Large diameter passenger side discharge is the green identifier. As we look into the pan door here, this is the relief valve for your intake. Set screw is located on the exterior portion. Also, your cab lift is located here. There are instructions for its operation, including some caution and danger information. All of your color-coded and labeled discharge drains are across the very bottom section. In addition, with a cutout section here for hose storage in the running board area with Velcro tie downs and dry deck material on the base. As we move now into the cab section, just as a reminder, all of our cab door panels have these warning placards on them, in addition with a grab handle, manual window control, and door lock. Overhead, once again, we have the push on and off white or red lens lights, 2 forward-facing seats, and 2 rear-facing seats. As we move to the roofline area behind the officer and driver, additional storage. We're now back to the front axle where you have Goodyear tires and Alcoa wheel. As we move to the officer space, we'll identify things within this area. First, starting with the door panel, affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, manual window controls, door lock and latch, and also a grab handle. Looking into the space now, we're starting with the front dash area. To the right of that, on the hinge side of the door, is where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Also 12-volt access via barrel style and USB-A. Emergency master, siren brake, front scene, driver scene, passenger scene, and rear scene lights. Once again, when any of these lights have been activated, the green light will illuminate, indicating the light status. Moving just to the left of this location, we'll find our Firecom intercom volume control and squelch control. You'll also find just underneath that area is the Firecom wireless base station, along with candy cane red and white wire stickers indicating that you have wiring behind that panel. As we move up onto the roof of the vehicle, you'll find your command light located on the top section. Also, this is a non-walking surface because we don't have any handrails, so we have these additional placards indicating that. As we move to the walking spaces, they're identified here in the yellow diamond area. Master stream device located here. You'll also find your water level top fill locations. Little giant storage area, top fill for water tank and also foam fill. As we move through the tanks itself, you'll find the tank A foam tank has a placard on it indicating only one brand of foam should be utilized and do not mix those brands of foam. Top fill water tank, as we look toward the rear of the apparatus, you'll find your hose bed and also you'll find your equipment rack. Additional storage located in the top section here. The additional images here are that of the chassis. There'll be no additional audio from this point on. Congratulations, Camas Washougal, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 41444. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you, and congratulations.